Welcome, kindred souls, to the Sacred Clan podcast. This is your space to slow down, breathe deep, and come home to yourself. I'm Sarah. I'm honoured to be part of the Sacred Clan, which all clan members will know is a brand, but is so much more than that. Sacred Clan is a living, breathing community rooted in reverence for nature, the divine feminine, and the ancient threads that weave us back to our intuition and our inner magic. With me today is a face you may not recognise because you will know her by her products. As a Sacred Clan follower, you'll have seen us feature the Kitchen Witch on our website, in our store, and on our social media as well. Welcome. It's been so lovely spending time with you. And it's awesome. Great to have you on the island collaborating with us. We've been so excited to have this conversation.
Absolutely honoured.
Well, thank you. Chrissy brings an earthy magic to everything she does, and whether you're familiar with the products or not, you ought to be. Get on that if you're not. It's so lovely to have you with us.
Thank you for having
learn
me.
more about your magic. We always start our podcast by asking our lovely guests for a simple but soulful moment. Where in nature do you feel most at home in yourself? What brings out your true self?
So my kind of like special place like that is in my woods. So like you're talking
your woods?
My woods. Yes.
Your woods.
Very bougie, isn't it?
Wow.
So I am lucky enough to own a little bit of woodland. And it's an ancient woodland too. And it's mossy and it's old and it's unkempt. And there's like a little glady bit where the sun just comes in when it's actually sun shining in southwest Scotland. And it's just to sit there, you can't hit anything except for like the brook that's like burbling along, and you can just sit there for hours and just relax, and it's amazing. And that's kind of like, that's my jam. Like, you know, those kind of ancient woodlands where you can feel the soul of it. That's mine.
Oh, what an amazing picture. That sounds completely glorious. And that connection you have to nature, being the Kitchen Witch.
Yeah.
What brought you to that name? How did that name come to you?
It's kind of like an old, it goes back to like my childhood. So like, you know, you used to get pocket money, and I used to always spend my pocket money on essential oils. Like this is like before the internet, you know. So I used to go to like Holland and Barrett and like blow all of my pocket money on essential oils. Couldn't do anything with it. Had no clue what to do with it. Just kept it in a box. And it was just kind of like, you know, I would sit there in the kitchen, like putting things together, you know, making potions like you would do, like random stuff that like, honestly, it's not going to be used for anything. And I used to always be like, oh, I'm getting my Kitchen Witch on. And then later when I started kind of like doing like the cosmetics and the soaps, it kind of like that sort of echo came back to me. And I was like, I went through a phase of kind of deciding what is going to call my business. Mm-hmm. And that kind of like echo from the past came through, and it was like, yeah, that's the one. And that was it.
That's gorgeous.
And it stuck.
Yeah, and you've gone from strength to strength. And the interesting thing we find is that, especially these days, we all wear so many hats. We have so many roles.
Definitely.
You create these beautiful self-care cosmetics, soaps, body products. Yeah. You're a mom. Yes. You've had so many different roles in your life.
Yes.
What role in your life do you feel you're in now? What phase of your life? What are you embracing?
You know what? I really feel like you have your maiden, your mother, and your crone phase. Mm-hmm. And even though I'm not technically kind of like old enough to be in my crone phase, I don't really count it as like an age thing, but I am in my crone phase. I'm in that kind of like, I don't give, you know, I am me. I am unapologetically me. I am going to do the things that I want to do. I'm going to wear the dresses I want to wear. Yeah. You know, if I'm going to like go out and collect eggs from the chickens, I'm going to wear a ball gown. Why not? You know, yeah. And it's kind of like, I'm definitely sort of more in that settled phase where outside influences are a lot less important than they were like maybe like 5 years ago. And I'm loving it. Like it's just, it's grounding, mm-hmm. You know? So yeah, I would go with crone phase all the way.
Oh, fantastic.
It's been a long time coming, but yeah, she's there, she's present, and it's amazing.
I love it. And it's so beautiful to hear how you weave that magic into your everyday life. You wear ball gowns to the supermarket to collect the eggs. What other ways do you weave that magic into your everyday?
So like my kind of way of practicing is the little things. It's the little mindful moments, like whether it's, you know, stirring your coffee like clockwise, setting your intention while you're making your coffee, to literally, you know, just taking a moment where when things feel like overwhelming, just taking a minute, stopping, listening, and, you know, focusing on what can I hear, what can I feel, what can I smell, you know, and just taking those moments to actually be present, because it's so easy with the busy lives that we all lead to just go, 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 and, you know, rushing around. You've got to do this, you've got to do that. But if you just take that moment just to breathe, just exist, just feel the energy around you, that is such an important part of my day. And then go again, you know, just kind of reset and then go again. And that in itself to me is magical. Like that being like, you know, acknowledging your moment in the universe just for a second and then going again. You know, that's kind of how I roll with things.
That's beautiful. And we're so lucky this weekend to be spending time in the Witch's Mill in Castletown on the Isle of Man,
beautiful.
which we understand to be the birthplace of Wicca.
Yes.
I appreciate that strain of paganism is not necessarily what resonates
no,
with you.
I don't. Yeah, I definitely not. I wouldn't identify it as a Wicca. I would identify it as a witch.
How does that manifest for you? What does that look like to you? How would you describe your spiritual practices?
Again, for me, it's about, you know, manifesting. You know, not necessarily spell work, but like how I make my products, and that's kind of my way of sort of taking what my skill set and putting it out there, you know, and that's kind of like my magical gift to the universe, as it were. But like, again, even just, you know, being present in nature and kind of just taking that moment to acknowledge like what is around you. I mean, you know, I love like plant magic and, you know, understanding kind of the different properties of, you know, what's relevant to like what I do. And yeah, it's just, it's simple things. It doesn't have to be prescribed. It doesn't have to be, you know, kind of like a checklist of what you should and shouldn't be doing. For me, it's just what feels right in the moment. It's like, you know, do I feel like I want to do like a spellcraft? Does that feel like it's something I want to do? If it doesn't, that's not, you know, it's not like, again, there's no rules to it. It's
very intuitive.
Exactly. And, you know, simple things that like, it's more about intention and kind of like knowing where you are and what you're doing, rather than the actual kind of like practicing of like like doing these, like you can do the little things, but also you can just exist and be like, being a witch is not, it's such a personal journey, and everyone's journey is so different, which I think it was what is so beautiful about witchcraft, you know.
That's magical. And I think like those of us who do identify as Wiccan will be able to relate to that as well. Beautifully. Like it's sort of non-denominational, that practice.
Absolutely.
That's glorious. And if anyone is looking to find somewhere magical to spend some time and reconnect with themselves, the Witch's Mill here in Castletown is a glorious spot. It's just been the most beautiful place to really connect with each other and ourselves. And we're so lucky to be here. And we are about to head out into the forest, your natural environment.
Absolutely.
To get our witch on.
Absolutely.
And have a glorious time.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, we'll see you there. So here we are in your natural habitat.
My natural habitat.
A forest, a little bit wild, lovely and green. You're blending in beautifully with the environment.
Camouflage.
It's just clearly your natural environment. And we were talking so much about your spiritual practice and what that brings to you in your everyday life. And I wondered when that sort of first came to you. Has it always been part of you? When did you recognize that that magic, that inclination for what it was?
I think it's always been there, like in one manifestation or another. It's kind of, it's something I've always been drawn to. And I think it was probably more in kind of my late teens that you kind of like start to like put names to things. And again, in a world like before the internet, it's kind of that sort of exploration was like quite limited, you know, especially given like growing up in a Catholic household.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's like quite a dichotomy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's always been there. I've always sensed it. So.
And what was your first experience of it? What sort of, yeah, how did it begin to manifest in your life?
I think originally it like literally like just going to the seaside and getting lost in the rhythm of the waves, you know, and you could end up walking hours and I'd be like, you know, 6 years old, you know, just and gone. And you just kind of follow that coastline and the rhythmic of like it's just yeah, you just kind of get lost in nature.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously this sort of beautiful setting was kind of a lot rarer where I grew up because I grew up in central London. So like this kind of awakening didn't happen until much later once I'd kind of left the city. But yeah, so like back then it was more kind of like, you know, those little snippets of opportunity, you know, even just sitting in the garden though, and just kind of being in nature, even if it's like cultivated nature, you can kind of feel the like that beat, that kind of like it's like a, you know, an unheard but felt on a spiritual level heartbeat of like the world. And I kind of like, yeah, kind of tapped into that from a really early age. Kind of get lost outside, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
where were those safe spaces for you as a teenager when you were still living in the big city?
again, probably like the garden, like my garden, you know, it's enclosed, it's green. Again, it's like that kind of less wild nature, but it was still somewhere that I kind of yearned to be, you know. And also like being around like horses a lot, so I'd go out to the stables and, you know, the sort of limited woodland like in the area, that would also be somewhere I would go, you know. So it was there, but like in much smaller capacity than this gloriousness.
Yeah. Oh, I know. We're so fortunate. We are so fortunate. We know how blessed we are.
Yeah.
Your journey to becoming the kitchen witch
Yep.
was a long and varied one.
It
I understand
was.
you had many incarnations professionally.
Yeah.
How did that begin for you? What was your first foray into creating these magical lotions and potions we all admire and love?
So kind of like what you kind of like know as kitchen witch products now, it all actually started with the lemon shower bar.
Oh, really?
That was my first ever soap.
A popular one as well.
I know. And do you know what? It's going to be really, really nerdy, but it all stems from a book that I love to read.
Go on.
Called Sabriel.
Okay.
And
Sabriel.
Sabriel.
I'm with you. Okay.
And in that book, you know, she's had like this harrowing journey into the Old Kingdom, and then she's like in the bath, and it's like, you know, this I think it's called like the Lemon Tree Inn or something, and you know, you could smell the lemons and the trees, and they made lemon soap. And I think that visual for me, I was just like, I want to recreate that. I want to make a proper lemon soap. And then with kind of like the sleep deprivation of being on maternity leave with a child, like the baby that didn't sleep, and he had like newborn eczema, it all just kind of slotted into place.
Oh, how lovely.
And like my first attempt was an absolute disaster. Like I ruined our crock pot. It was a whole vibe. And then the second time it was spot on, and I used like real lemon essential oil, like distilled lemon, and it was just the one.
Yeah. Oh,
and it just kind of kicked off from there.
amazing, because your background, your training is in like science, chemistry,
biology, like anatomy and kind of the veterinary side of stuff. I don't know. I just feel like I was always kind of destined to fall into this. I've always had that sort of fundamental interest in like natural cosmetics and using what we've got to like create something like truly amazing on the skin. And it just, I think, you know, it's kind of like the dominoes sort of fell into place, you know, like a series of fortunate events, you know, that kind of just like fit together to make this amazing picture. And that was that. That's, you know, wonderful. But I mean, I was making soap for a few years before I actually officially became the kitchen witch. But because you can't make things in small batches, you know, I was giving it away to local villagers, and like they were coming back and being like, Chrissy, this has like cleared up my psoriasis. Like, you know, I want more. And so again, it's like a snowball effect where, you know, it's like, oh, this is really fun. And then like, oh, I actually really enjoy coming up with new scent combinations. Oh, let's make something different. And then it kind of, it sort of like adds layer on layer on layer. And then eventually when I was pregnant with my second son, the kitchen witch became the kitchen witch in an actual market sense. And then when I was on maternity leave with him, that's when I first did my website, you know, because I had the time to sit down with it. Yeah, and it's just gone from strength to strength, and it's just kind of been, you know, I feel like I kind of got in on the ground level when people were starting to sort of wake up to, you know, natural skincare and things like that. And then COVID hit, and honestly, that was the making of my business. Like I was posting out to America, all over Europe. Obviously, this was before Brexit, and which means that I can't do those things anymore. But like, I was slammed. Like my following went straight through the roof, and yeah, it was making my business, and it actually became this kind of like feasible thing I could do with my life, not just like, you know, a little side hobby sort of thing, which is kind of crazy, going from that mentality of like science teaching to then being like, oh, actually I have a marketable skill that uses that side of my heart that, you know, you kind of like, oh, you know, you poo-poo it to the side.
I know what you mean. Those little dreams we have, the little wishes we have of what we could do every day.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, amazing props to you for making that your everyday. That's really incredible. So many of us aspire to sort of, escape into the magic we wish to create.
Definitely.
For anyone who is sort of feeling a little bit lost and perhaps wishing, dreaming for something different and wanting to connect with others, connect with themselves, are there any words of wisdom or whisperings of reminders that you might have for them?
I mean, the world is huge, but it's also like an English village. You know, like there are so many people out there who you can connect with. It's you know, the whole thing with like your vibe attracts your tribe is so true. And I think the other thing is, you know, finding that kind of solace in yourself as well. Like you get to a point where it's like, actually validate yourself and then find those people that are going to fill your cup. I think that's kind of the biggest thing for me. That's like one of the biggest learning curves I've had over the years, especially recently. It's like you don't necessarily need people. You need yourself. So get right with yourself and then find those people that will fill your cup. And then, like, you're then receptive to that, you know? So.
Words. Thank you.
No worries.
And what's your wish for the year ahead? This time next year, what do you hope will have come to fruition or landed or blossomed in your life?
It's a difficult one because I'm kind of going through a health crisis at the moment.
So
I want a diagnosis. I want the boogeyman to be unmasked, like in Scooby-Doo. So I know what I'm fighting. And then from then I can plan my next stages. I mean, obviously I want my business to carry on growing, but at the same time, it's kind of scary because it's like, you know, what is the next growth phase? You know, I kind of gave in and I've, you know, got people helping me now, which was like a big deal to me. You know, kind of get control freaky about things, you know, especially when you've kind of built it from the ground up. So I think one thing that I definitely want is to step back from markets, focus on my workshop and people coming to see me, and kind of like enjoying life a bit more. So finding that balance between working, and now actually I'm at a point where I can now outsource things. So like, you know, have people do the markets for me, have people maybe come and help me like label or whatever, and then see if I can then push it to the next level. Also, new products.
And I think you're wearing a rather lovely one right now.
I've shared it with my following before, like the little highlighter balm,
little shimmery something.
Little something. So yeah, I'm hoping to kind of bring out new soap scents and makeup range. You know, because I used to have my tinted lip balms, and I want to like re-release those, and kind of just go from there and see what happens.
Oh, incredible!
Just love just coming up with new stuff, and hopefully in the future I can actually start releasing it.
Oh, we're so excited for that. Thank you. It's so lovely to chat to you. So many words of wisdom to take away. And we can't wait to see what products you come up with next. We'll be watching carefully. You may have noticed that we've made quite a lot of new friends here in the forest. Please excuse the gentle flapping and tapping.
So many emojis.
A whole world of new friends to meet. But thank you so much for joining us. And thank you. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.